Quran Surah number 23, verse number 6 says that the quality of the best of the Muslims, that is, Mu'min, is that he should make carnal love not only with his wives but also with bondwomen. Precisely this verse states that except with their wives or those bondwomen in their possession, for then they are free from blame. Who are these bondwomen? Another Quran Surah 33 verse number 50 says that bondwomen are those who are in a Muslim's possession. In no unambiguous words, this verse states that, O Prophet, we have made lawful for you your wives to whom you have paid their full dowries, as well as those bondwomen in your possession whom Allah has granted you. Quran Surah 4 Ayat or verse 24 makes it further clear by stating that captives in Muslims' possession are such women regardless of their marital status, with whom Muslim can have carnal gratification without woman's consent. It says, also forbidden are married women except female captives in your possession. That is, what does it mean? Is that if you have enslaved married women, even then you can have sex with them because you have won them in the war. The question is when and how you are going to make any woman captive. It is not necessary that you wage war. Of course, if you wage war, then you get captives. That is another thing. But even otherwise, you can have such women. Just go and grab a kafir girl walking on the road or enter her house and kill her male relatives and took that girl. Rape her days in and days out till you satisfy your lust. Then go to the market and sell her and have necessities of life and war, and some other woman in lieu from the same market. Below is the proof. The Sirat Rasulullah says, page 466. Then the apostle divided the property, wives and children of Banu Qurayza among the Muslims. Then the apostle sent for Sa'd bin Zaid al-Ansari, brother of bin Abdul Ashal, with some of the captive women of Banu Qurayza to Najd, and he sold them for horses and weapons. Reference Ishaq 693. There are more references as well. Quran 8:39, Quran Surah 8 Ayat 39. And fight against them until the mischief ends and the way prescribed by Allah, the whole of it prevail. Then if they give up mischief, surely Allah sees what they do. What is this mischief, by the way? Is it to walk on this earth as a kafir or non-Muslim? Yes. By the way, the worst of the non-Muslim is the one who worship idols. Here is the proof. Quran 9:14 also refers. Quran 9:14 means chapter number 9 verse number 14 or surah number 9 ayat number 14 also refers to polytheists or idol worshippers. So fight them and Allah will punish them at your hands, put them to shame, help you overcome them, and soothe the hearts of the believers. Here reference is to the polytheists of Makkah, which is very well applicable to Hindus of India. And it is very important, which is underlined, that phrase which is underlined in this ayat, the soothe the hearts of believers. That means believers will be satisfied if they see that polytheists are being killed or punished. And this is the fact which makes this cult as a very, very sadistic cult. Then Quran chapter number 4 verse number 48 or surah number 4 ayat number 48 says that the greatest sin on earth is to associate someone else with Allah. Precisely it says, indeed, Allah does not forgive associating others with Him in worship, but forgives anything else of whoever He wills. And whoever associates others with Allah has indeed committed a grave sin. That means the gravest or the greatest sin on this earth is to associate any other God with Allah. Allah is ready to forgive any kind of sin by His followers, but He cannot tolerate if someone is doing polytheism, or someone is worshipping other gods other than Allah, whether they are followers or not followers. Then Quran chapter number 9 verse number 29, or surah number 9 ayat number 29, fight those who do not believe in Allah. That means anyone who is walking on the street and he is a kafir, you can fight with him. And if you fight and if you are able to defeat him, then his wife, his sisters, his mothers and other young ladies of his house is yours. Those will become your women and you can have anything with them. Fight those who do not believe in Allah and the last day, or comply with what Allah and His Messenger have forbidden, nor embrace the religion of truth, that is Islam, nor embrace the religion of truth from among those who were given the scriptures, until they pay tax, willingly submitting, fully humbled. That means you are bound to fight those peoples who are with the scriptures, that is Christians and Jews, until they pay tax, willingly submitting and fully humbled. If they don't, then you can fight, subdue them, kill them and have their women for you. Basically, a Muslim is bound to fight with a non-believer without provocation from the latter. If the non-believer happens to be a female, then her rape or sex without consent is sanctioned by Quran as stated in this article 33, in this article earlier, that is 33/50, chapter number 33, verse number 50 of Quran. And if that non-believer is a male, then killing is sanctioned by Quran as per Quran chapter number 8 verse number 12. I will cast horror into the hearts of the disbelievers or non-believers, so strike their necks and strike their fingertips. Well, of course, it is understood what Muslims are going to do once this male kafir is killed, for which verses are given in this essay already. They will enter the house of such kafir men and drag their women out of it and distribute them among themselves. Definitely not for tying Rakhi or doing Kanya Pujan. All religions are same. Still, really? No, this is enough for today, and the third part we will do later on. This was the second part.